Going to study about the Indian freedom struggle. So in this lesson we are going to study about the Indian National Congress. Then we will study about the moderate Congress, the moderate phase of Congress. Okay, then we will study about the opinion against economic exploitation. What was the opinion of the early nationalist on the economic exploitation? Then administrative reforms, then constitutional reforms, then weakness of the process of the early Indian National Congress, and then at the end we will evaluate it. So first let's start with the Indian National Congress. So the credit for organizing the first meeting of the Indian National Congress goes to a retired government servant, and that is A.O. Hume, and that is Allan Octavian Hume. So he was the man behind forming the Indian National Congress. So he was on very good terms with Lord Ripon and shared his view that the emergence of the educated class should be accepted as a political reality, and that timely steps should be taken to provide legitimate outlets to the grievances of this class and efforts to be made to satisfy its ambitions. So Allan Octavian Hume was of this view that we should give a direction to this politically motivated youth who were coming out and trying to understand the national issues. So that's why Allan Octavian Hume thought to form an organization in which the politically motivated youth will organize themselves and then put in front of the government their grievances. So this was the basic idea behind forming the Indian National Congress. Okay, so Allan Octavian Hume, A.O. Hume, that is, he got in touch with the prominent Indian leaders and organized with their cooperation the first session of the Indian National Congress at Gokul Singh Tejpal Sanskrit School in Bombay. Now this is very important. This place is very important because this was the place where the first session of the Indian National Congress was organized, and that was Gokul Singh Tejpal Sanskrit School in Bombay in December 1885. So in December 1885, Indian National Congress was formed and its first session was held at Gokul Singh Tejpal Sanskrit School, Bombay, and it was presided over by W.C. Banerjee, that is Vyomesh Chandra Banerjee, and it was attended by 72 delegates. So remember, formation of Congress, formation of INC, Indian National Congress in 1885, and it was in Bombay. Okay, so remember this thing. These are basic things which you should remember. So here you can see the image of the first meeting of the Indian National Congress. Then what were the aims of the Indian National Congress? So the aims and objectives of the Congress described in the first session as promotion of personal intimacy and friendship amongst the countrymen, then eradication of all possible prejudices relating to race, creed or provinces, then consolidation of sentiments of national unity, then recording of the opinions of educated classes on pressing problems of the day, and laying down lines for future course of action in public interest. So these were some. And then the last one was, this organization initially fought for reforms in the country and subsequently for the freedom of India from the foreign yoke. So these were some these were some ambitious demands which were put forward by the early Indian National Congress, and these were some grievances which they were trying to put in front of the government. That's why the Indian National Congress played an important role in the freedom struggle of India. So the moderate Congress. So the early phase of the early era of Indian National Congress is called as the moderate Congress, because the Congress at that time, the Indian National Congress at that time, was dominated by the people who were of a moderate nature, and they believed in the process of uh, pray, petition. So these were the modes they used. That's why they were called as moderates in the Indian National Congress. So the Indian National Congress, founded in 1885, provided a common platform for the nationalist leaders to meet and voice their grievances and place their demands before the British government. So the early leaders of the Indian National Congress were Dada Bhai Nauroji, then M.G. Ranade, then Sir P.M. Mehta, then Gopal Krishna Gokhale, then Vyomesh Chandra Banerjee and S.N. Banerjee. So there were a lot of leaders. So these were some of the leaders who dominated the early Indian National Congress, and they were staunch believers in liberalism and moderate politics. That means, what does this moderate politics means actually? So the moderate politics means that you will not directly criticize government, but you will try to put forward your demands in front of government, because the moderates believed that Britishers don't know what are the problems of Indians, and that's why they believed in the justice of Britishers, and they said that if we let the Britishers know what our real problems are, then the Britishers will definitely solve our problems. So moderates believed in this, and that's why this type of working is called as moderate politics. So they came from upper strata and were the product of Western education. So see, we have seen that the rise of national consciousness in India because of the Western education, the press, then the communications, which was developed by the Britishers for their own purpose, but later on it backfired on them. So these were some the Western education and all this. This gave birth to new leaders who were educated in the Western thought, and then they got to know about the liberalism, then freedom, then democracy. So these people started demanding, so the Western educated leaders in India, they started demanding the same kind of things in India. So some of them were the moderates who were working in Congress. So here you can see the moderate leaders of the Congress. Subramaniam Iyer, this is C. Subramaniam Iyer, Dada Bhai Nauroji, Gopal Krishna Gokhale. So these were some moderate Congress, okay, moderate leaders of Congress. Then the moderates had a fascination for British parliamentary institutions, because this type of working was new in India, because earlier the Mughals were ruling, the Marathas were ruling, in some parts the Rajputs were ruling, the Nawabs were ruling in some parts. In South India there were the Nizam. So each kingdom had its own type of administration, but when Britishers came to India, they established a single type of administration, and they established this parliamentary institutions, and this was fascinating for the moderates. So they were reformers and believed in the British justice. So the moderates believed they were reformers and they believed in the British justice. They thought that Britishers will do justice to us, and they wanted a balanced and lucid presentation of their needs before the Englishmen and their parliament. So moderates believed that if we put forward our demands, then Britishers will definitely fulfill it. So they used the methods of constitutional agitation. They did not believe in extreme agitation, but in constitutional agitation, that staying within the limit of constitution and then agitating and then putting forward your demands, whatever your demands are. So they believed that their main task was to educate the people in modern politics and arouse national consciousness, create a united public opinion on political questions. So this was their agenda. This was their agenda, and their working was totally different, and they were very moderate, and they did not believe in violence or violence was too far away from them, but they did not even believe in opposing the British government initially. Initially, they believed that Britishers are, the rule of Britishers is good for India, because we will get to know a lot of things from Britishers. We can learn a lot of things. Britishers are the people who will help us in modernizing and giving us justice. So that's why moderates believed in the sense of justice of the Britishers. So they hold public meetings and they passed resolutions setting forth popular demands, and sent petitions to the British authorities in India and to the Parliament in England. So this was their way of functioning. They sent petitions to the British authorities in India and as well as the Parliament in England also. The moderates believed that British were unaware of the real condition of India. So this was the belief of moderates. They said that Britishers don't know the real condition of India. They are unaware of the grassroots level problems of Indians. So they therefore made all efforts to enlighten the British public opinion through memorials, petitions and political propaganda in England. So these were their methods. They were trying to popularize the Indian demands. They were trying to educate actually the Englishmen about the real problems of Indians. So the moderates considered the coming of British as beneficial and providential. So here you can see the session of Congress in which they discussed all the methods and they discussed all the issues and then sent petitions to the British authorities in India as well as in the Parliament of England. So the moderates, they wanted to use the British in their attempts to reform contemporary Indian society. Why? Because we see that when Britishers came to India, Indian society was mainly orthodox. It was involved and engaged in all sort of orthodox activities. It was mainly religion was playing a major role in their life. They were not the way of thinking was totally different, which was taking place in the Europe. So mainly the Indian society at that time, it was considered as orthodox society, and that's why moderates wanted to use British to modernize the Indian society. This was their belief that by using Britishers we will modernize the Indian society. The early nationalist leaders did not expect the Congress to function as a political party. So this was the belief that initially they did not wanted Congress to be a political party, but just to be a reformer and to reform Indian society. This was the initial belief of the moderates who were working in the Congress. So Allen Octavian Hume wanted it to function on the model of the Irish Home Rule League, which sought autonomy in internal affairs under the British suzerainty. So thus the Western concept of self-government was the political goal of the moderates, and this goal was to be achieved through a gradual process. So this was the aim. Initially the aim was not to overthrow. The initial aim of the Indian National Congress was not to overthrow the British power from India, but it was to attain a self-government within the British rule, so that that too with a gradual process, through a gradual process, so that they can attain whatever their limited goals are. So this was the aim of the initial Indian National Congress. Okay. So what was their opinion against economic exploitation? So the moderates linked the poverty in India to the economic exploitation of the country by the British. And Dadabhai Naoroji pointed out the root cause of India's poverty and traced it to the drain of India's wealth. So he put forward the drain of wealth theory. Drain of wealth theory. And this theory was given by Dadabhai Naoroji. Remember this. Drain of wealth theory was given by Dadabhai Naoroji, and in this theory he explained how the trade is how the Britishers are looting India and how they are taking away all the money from India. They are taking away the Indian goods at cheaper cost, and then they are selling it in the Europe, and mainly they are importing the European goods from Europe, and there is no custom duty in India. So this was a theory which was put forward by Dadabhai Nauroji, and this theory was called as drain of wealth theory. So in this theory, he tried to explain the economic exploitation which was done by the Britishers in India. The moderates suggested the development of modern industry as a remedy for the eradication of poverty in India. They said that on the lines of industrial revolution which was taking place in Europe, similarly the industrial revolution also should happen in India. New modern industry should be established in India so that it will eradicate the poverty. So this was the belief and this was the demand which was put forward by the moderate Congress, and they popularized the concept of Swadeshi as a means of promoting Indian industries. Okay, so they carried on agitation for the reduction in land revenue and asked for a radical change in the existing pattern of taxation and expenditure. So they wanted to change the taxing pattern also, and they wanted to change the expenditure of the government also, because at that time government was spending a lot of money on the wars which were fought outside India for territorial expansion. It may be in Burma, it may be in Sindh, it may be in Afghanistan, it may be in Punjab. So that time lot of money was spent, and this money was a burden on Indian account, on Indian treasury. So that's why the moderate Congress or the early Indian National Congress wanted to change the pattern of expenditure of the British government in India. They urged the government to provide cheap credit to the peasants through agricultural banks and to make available large scale irrigation facilities also. So this was also one of the important demands which was put forward by the early Indian National Congress. They demanded improvement in the condition of plantation laborers. You see the indigo plant, the situation of the condition of the early in the early India, the condition of indigo plantation laborers was very miserable, and it was very pitiful situation of the indigo plantation labor, and they were living a very hard life, and they were forced by the Britishers to work on the plantation, and many of the peasants were forced by the British plantation owners to grow indigo in their field. Okay, so that's why the early Indian National Congress demanded improvement in the condition of the plantation laborers, and they also demanded the abolition of salt tax and other taxes. And they were critical of high government expenditure on the army that was employed in Asia and Africa. So as we have seen that the moderates wanted to reduce the expenditure on army which was unnecessary according to them. So what were the administrative reforms which were demanded by the early Indian National Congress? So the moderates demanded for increasing Indianization of administrative services. They wanted to include Indians into the administrative services, and they criticized the oppressive and tyrannical behavior of the police and government officials towards the common people, and they demanded the separation of the executive from the judiciary. So this was also an important demand which was put forward by the early Indian National Congress members, that first thing was you include Indians into administrative services. Then second was that the oppressive behavior or the tyrannical behavior of the police and the government official should be stopped, and they should behave properly with the common people. And third, they demanded separation of executive from the judiciary. That means the law and order and judiciary should be separated. The executive functions should be separated from the judiciary. Then they opposed the official policy of disarming the people, because the Arms Act, according to Arms Act, Indians were denied to carry any weapon without license, but Europeans were allowed to carry weapon even without license. So according to this was a clear discrimination between the Indians and Europeans who were in India. That's why they opposed the official policy of disarming the people, and they emphasized the need for the spread of education, extension of medical facilities to the people, then improvement of the public system, and demanded freedom of speech and abolition of press censorship. So these were some common demands which were put forward by the early Indian National Congress members in front of the Britishers. Then they also demanded some constitutional reforms. So the moderates, they were also extremely cautious lest the government suppress their activities. So from 1885 to 1892, they demanded the expansion and reform of the legislative councils. The British government was forced by their agitation to pass the Indian Councils Act of 1892. By this act, the number of members of the Imperial Legislative Council as well as the provincial councils was increased. Remember, by the Council Acts of 1892, and this was because the popular demand which was put forward by the early members of the Indian National Congress, that is the moderates. So this was their main success, that they were able to they were able to put forward their demand, that is the reform into the Indian legislative assemblies, that is the Council Act of 1892. And according to this, the vacancy was, the membership was increased in the legislative council, Imperial Legislative Council also, and as well as in the provincial council was also. Okay, so some of these members could be elected indirectly by Indians, but the officials majority remained in the councils, that is in the Imperial Legislative Council as well as the provincial councils. Okay. Then the nationalists were totally dissatisfied with the Act of 1892 and declared it to be a hoax. That is, it is a fake, and it has not given a real authority, and it is not a real reform which we needed. So this was the statement which was given by the early nationalists, that is the moderates. And by the beginning of the 20th century, the nationalist leaders advanced further and put forward the claim of Swaraj, of self-government within the British Empire on the model of self-governing colonies like Australia and Canada. So later on, when they were disappointed by the Indian Councils Act of 1892, later on they demanded the claim for the Swaraj, that is a self-government on the lines of Australia and Canada. At that time, Australia and Canada were also a British colony. So this demand was made from Congress platform by Gokhale in 1905 and by Dadabhai Naoroji in 1906. So this was a gradual shift, and when the moderates also started to see the real nature of the rule of the Britishers, and that's why they were also, they were also improving, the moderates were also improving, and they were also learning new things from the Britishers, and they were also trying to play around with the Britishers. So prominent moderate leaders, who were the prominent moderate leaders in the Indian National Congress? The first of all was Dadabhai Naoroji. He also known as the Grand Old Man of India, and he was the prominent leader in the Indian National Congress, and he became the first Indian to become a member of the House of Commons in Britain. Okay, and he authored Poverty and Un-British Rule in India. This was the book This was the book which was written by him, Poverty and Un-British Rule in India, which focused on the economic drain of India because of British policies. And this led to an inquiry on the matter. So remember this book, very important, Poverty and Un-British Rule in India, which was written by Dada Bhai Nauroji, Drain of Wealth Theory. This book was based on the drain of wealth theory. Okay, he was one of the great leader of early Indian National Congress. Then Vyomesh Chandra Banerjee. So Vyomesh Chandra Banerjee, as we know, he was the first president of the Indian National Congress, the first session of Indian National Congress, which was held at Bombay. Remember this. And at that time, he was the president of that session. He was a lawyer by profession and first Indian to act as a standing counsel. Then G. Subramaniam Iyer, he founded the Hindu newspaper, which is very famous nowadays. So he founded the Hindu newspaper where he criticized British imperialism. In the Hindu newspaper, he criticized British imperialism. He also founded Tamil newspaper, that is Swadesamitram. So he founded two newspapers, the Hindu and Swadesamitram. He co-founded the Madras Mahajan Sabha. He was the co-founder of the Madras Mahajan Sabha. Who? G. Subramaniam Iyer. Remember the name. Then Gopal Krishna Gokhale. He is also known as the Mahatma Gandhi's political guru. Remember this. Gopal Krishna Gokhale. There may be a question on this. I think there was a question on this, but it may be repeated in our exam. That is, who was the political guru of Mahatma Gandhi? And that is Gopal Krishna Gokhale was the political guru of Mahatma Gandhi. Remember this. And he founded the Servants of India Society. Who? Gopal Krishna Gokhale, G.K. Gokhale. Then Sir Surendra Banerjee, one of the important leader of the Indian National Congress. He is also called as Rashtraguru, and founded the Indian National Association, which later merged with the Indian National Congress. And he cleared the Indian civil service but was discharged due to racial discrimination. Okay, and he founded the newspaper The Bengali. And other moderate leaders included Raj Bihari Ghosh, R.C. Datta, then M.G. Ranade, and Firoz Shah Mehta, P.R. Naidu, Madan Mohan Malviya, then Anand Charlu, S. Subramaniam Iyer, then William Wedderburn. So these were some of the moderate leaders of Indian National Congress, the early Indian National Congress in the moderate phase. What was the weakness of this way of working of the Indian National Congress, which was mainly dominated by moderates? So what was the weakness behind? Why they did not achieve any considerable thing which they demanded? So the moderates lacked confidence in the masses. They thought that masses are, that means the people are not ready for a large huge scale of agitation. So that's why they lacked in the confidence in the masses. They came from the cities and were sympathetic towards the people of the countryside, but could not keep close contact with them. See, mainly these leaders came from city areas, and they knew actually what was the problem of the people at the grassroots level, but still they could not keep close contact with them. That is the common people who were living in the countryside area. The moderates did not realize that a prolonged struggle against imperialism could be waged through a mass movement only. So initially the Indian National Congress did not believe in the inclusion of masses in the movement or struggle. The moderates apprehended that if they led a mass movement, the British government would easily break the Congress, because at that time Congress was in its initial phase and it was also trying to establish itself properly. That's why it did not include masses in the movement. They did not include masses in the struggle, and that's why. And the one of the reason was that they apprehended the power of British Empire, and that's why they thought that British government would easily break the Congress. That's why this was a measure which was taken by the early Indian National Congress. Then the moderates therefore did not organize a mass movement on a large scale. So if we evaluate the total working of the early National Congress, that is the moderate phase of the Indian National Congress, we can know that the moderates were the most progressive in Indian society at that time, and they were true patriots, because at the early stage masses were not that much educated and they had no knowledge about the national level problems and how to agitate in this new way which was put forward by the moderates. That's why moderates did not included the masses in the movement, and this was a wise step which was taken by moderates, and they were quite successful in educating the masses in the political activity. They desired all round progress and modernization of India and wished the betterment of the Indian society. The moderates succeeded in creating a wide political awakening in India and arousing among the Indians the feeling of belonging to one common nation. So this was actually achieved by the moderates, that they were successful in creating a nationwide awakening in the nationwide actually political awakening in India, and they educated lot of young generation to take participation in the national movement, and they popularized the ideas of democracy and civil liberty. And they also trained a large number of political workers in the art of modern politics. And despite their loyalty to the British crown, they exposed the true character of the British imperialism in India and blamed British rule for the poverty of the Indian people. So this was the way of working of the moderates in Indian National Congress, that is early Indian National Congress, and this was a moderate phase. Okay, so that's all about this lesson. In our next lesson, we are going to study about the Indian National Movement. How did the Indian National Movement started? That is from 1905 to 1918. This is part 1. So in our next lesson, we are going to study that.